Hey, what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and today I wanted to talk about some free-to-play games that you probably didn't know about because they're not on Steam. Now, these are free PC games, and they're underrated in a couple of ways. Maybe you forgot about them, maybe they really just never hit the spotlight, or maybe they're up and coming. Whatever the reason, these are my top 5 underrated free PC games, not on Steam, you didn't know. Not gonna waste your time. It's pretty self-explanatory, so let's do it. First game that I want to actually talk about is one that kind of stole my heart, I think about 8 months ago. It's a title called Mindustry. So, fun fact, and to really kind of set the mood for the list, it is on Steam, but it's $6 on Steam. That's the gimmick, and there are some extra features that you can kind of get from the Steam version, and maybe more modern support. However, you can actually play Mindustry. It's a totally free and complete game on mobile devices. However, we're also talking about PC, and I could have used the gimmick of, well, you can play it on BlueStacks, but no, it's actually on itch.io. There's so many amazing games on itch.io that I also recommend. I played a few on my horror game list, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have played many demos or experiments on there. But no, Mindustry, it's a pretty freaking full game, and basically it's a tower defense factory game. So think Factorio, but kind of, mixing up the formula just a little bit, and also free! So, I really liked this game. I love tower defense. I fell in love with the whole factory genre because of this game as well, and I think it's a great merger of the two. What do you guys think? Let me know in them comments below. Next, we have an IO game. It's an IO or browser-based FPS named War Brokers. You might know this game if you follow my channel because I've mentioned it a few times, but it's actually gotten better over time in my opinion. Now, it is definitely overshadowed by a few other IO games, mainly such as like Crunker or maybe a few Battle Royales, or everyone just loves Deep.io or Slither.io, sure, but War Brokers, in terms of like a 3D FPS, it is one that I've probably played the most, just because it gives me something special that I don't really normally get, especially in browser games, and that's going to be Big Team Battle. Basically, War Brokers is Battlefield, and then it's free, and it's browser-based. It kind of reminds me, back in the day, there was that browser-based literal Battlefield Heroes game, remember? It was a little different, it was third-person shooter, it was really janky and cheesy, but War Brokers is totally that. It is janky, and it is cheesy, but it does have planes and helicopters and rocket launchers, and, you're running around giant cities and sniping, and yeah, it's got a lot of stuff going on for it, and I found it pretty tight, pretty smooth, actually. Now, there is another Steam version for this, but that's also $5 for the standalone launcher. So, if you want to play a browser-based FPS, there's a lot of them out there, but War Brokers is personally, like, in terms of just solidity, it's my number 2, but then also kind of forgiving it because, dude, it's a freaking Big Team Battle mixed combat, with vehicles and stuff type of game, and it also is a Battle Royale, if you want to choose that game mode. So, yeah, War Brokers all around, fully encompassing, is my browser FPS. Halfway, though, we have OpenRCT2. I have very rarely talked about this, just slightly thrown it in there. You probably haven't ever heard me mention it, actually, very rare, but it is a game that actually I've spent a lot of time on. So it looks like Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 because it is Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. Now, I actually own it on Steam, but see, the title is OpenRCT2 because that is technically the open source mod in order to actually play the game with new features, and as well, the big gimmick here is that you can play it co-op. You can play this online. Like, you can just own and have servers. It wouldn't work, but if everything worked perfectly, it could be kind of almost like an MMO server. Probably not. Anyways, I played it co-op with 2 other people, and like one person does decorations, maybe one person does thrill rides and things, the other person works on paths and concessions, and you all share the same money pool, so you can actually work together. And if you don't remember, Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 actually was really challenging, so sometimes we would fail and we'd have to restart and reset the campaign for the next 2 hours. Overall, it was a tremendous amount of fun, and you guys, if you don't know it, you can just download the Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 demo, which gives you literally all the files of Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, and then just use OpenRCT2 in order to play for free, and then play in a way that you probably have never played a game like this before, which is online and cooperatively. Number 2 on my list has got to be the arena shooter Diabotical. Diabotical is probably the most known arena shooter at this moment in terms of like this is the arena shooter that everyone that plays arena shooters is playing, but in terms of like just general FPS, from browser-based to of course battle royales and just people playing FPS, playing free-to-play games, Diabotical has a really low population and has a lot of people, I think overall, just a lower attention span for these kind of games at the moment because there isn't really a competitive scene for these kind of games. There I guess hasn't been momentum for these kind of games for a while. The most recent one was kind of Quake Champions, and that one was squandered entirely. And before that, there was like some nameless one. Before that, some nameless ones. A lot of games in this genre just really have kind of been dead on arrival. And Diabotical didn't die on arrival, but it is a quieter game. It is an underrated game because it's really solid. Maybe a reason that's why it's not so explosive is because it is basically Quake. It's basically OG Quake with some slight twists and turns, but it runs really well. It is on the Epic Game Launcher, do keep that in mind, but it's free and it just works. And if you play arena shooters, you are probably playing Diabotical, but for those who have not played arena shooters, I think Diabotical is still stupid fun to jump into. Yeah, you're probably having fun with your battle royales. Maybe you're jumping into Halo back in the day, I don't know, but there's a couple of FPSs that kind of maybe on the surface can look like this. You can actually go play. There's a couple of arena shooter inspired battle royales, but in the end, the arena shooter genre is a unique genre that you should give a shot. And if you are going to give it a shot, which most people who play the genre are playing this game, you should join them in playing Diabotical. And number one for the best underrated free PC game not on Steam is Hordes.io. And basically, I think this actually is gaining a bit of traction, and a lot of people always kind of go in waves of wanting to play low-spec MMO or browser MMO. I definitely would love to make more videos on those two topics, and Hordes.io is going to be in all of those list videos, and just in general MMO list videos, I need to talk about it a little bit more. And you might have heard me mention it a few times. I think one of my peers, Lazy Peon, also did a video on it, so it has garnered some attention, but in terms of just like general MMOs, generally it's the weeb shit that gets way more popular. And obviously we have World of Warcraft being the titan that it is, Final Fantasy XIV, etc. You know the big ones. Hordes.io is definitely lower on the list and deserves a little bit more attention, especially because of how well it performs for being a freaking browser MMO. So it's a 3D action browser MMORPG that actually is very inspired by vanilla World of Warcraft. It's basically World of Warcraft taken to the most minimalistic shape, form, aesthetic, and its mechanics distilled down as far as you possibly could while still being recognizable. There's two factions, there's just a handful of classes. You got your support shaman class, you got your warrior, you got your mage, you got your archer. Okay, then you throw them all together. There is questing and you're just running around killing a bunch of stuff and things. And then, oh yeah, there's world PvP. So you're just running around as blocks, slapping stuff silly. And sometimes you just want something quick and clean and casual and just really dumb fun. And that's Hordes.io. I really do want to see a return to browser-based MMOs. Maybe there's a couple rant videos in the making right there just talking about that. But yeah, if there ever was hope for that kind of future, which I do hope there is because I'm learning how to make them myself right now, actually, with classes, Hordes.io I think is going to be one of the spearheads for that re-emergent future of the browser MMO. But otherwise, I probably could go on and on and on about a few games, but I really wanted to make this a top list. That's it. These are my top 5 games that I recommend, that I spend a lot of time in, that I truly think are the ones that are equally underrated, like they're really good, but, not too many people know about them. And also ones that genuinely, I really think that you guys should give a shot because you're really overlooking them. Absolutely. So, games that are not on Steam, even though technically some of them are on Steam, but kind of not as free to play. Okay, anyways, this was actually a very hard list to do, but it was recommended from somebody in the Discord in the friends and family community. So thank you so much, guys. Join my Discord if you guys want to recommend stuff, or just say it out, shout it out in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all the stupid YouTube stuff, and Patreon if you want to support me somehow, maybe, I don't know. But that's it, guys. Keep the hype alive, and I will see you again next time.